In this episode, we're going to look at how to use the event editor. So as you can see, I added some thumbnails, some frames, and I put some things so we can differentiate between them. Now to get over to the event editor we're going to go to the event editor of frame 1. So I'm going to click frame 1 and then click the event editor thumbnail up here. And now we have the event editor. And you can see there's no conditions or events in here so far. The event editor is basically just a series of if-then statements. So if something happens, then do something else. So to add a new, the conditions are the if part of this. So we can, if we want to add an if, we can click the new condition here, or we can right click on the number and choose add new condition. I'm just going to click new condition, and now you can see we get this right click on the object to test. So we can choose any of these things which have groups of different ifs under them. So I'm just going to choose the timer here, and so I'm going to say the timer is equal to a certain value. So after 5 seconds, then I'm going to make it do something else. So let's say I want it to go to the next frame. I'm going to go over under the storyboard controls, and you right click and that'll bring up a bunch thens. If you right click on any of these, it'll bring up the thens. So I'm going to right click here, and then I can see I have a next frame object. So I'm going to click that, and now you can see when the timer equals 5 seconds, then it's going to go to the next frame. So now we can add multiple conditions. Like we could also add a condition that says other things also. Now, so if we test our movie or our application, I'm going to go to run, choose application. We can see that after 5 seconds, it's going to go to the next frame. See, this is, now we're on the second frame. So I'm going to close this. Then I'm going to add another condition to our frame 3. So I'm going to right click here, add new condition, and then the new condition is, I'm going to right click here, choose the mouse, and then the user clicks. So if the user clicks the left button, single click, okay, then we want it to go to the next frame. So now what this is saying is if the user clicks with the left button, then it's going to go to the next frame. But this is on frame 3, so this event only applies to frame 3 and not to frame 1. So now I'm going to test our movie. And now we can see that after 5 seconds it changed to frame 2. And now I'm going to click, and now I see it changed to frame 3. So we can also add more. I'm going to add another condition on frame 4. I'm going to go to the event editor of frame 4 by clicking here, and now new condition. And the new condition is going to be if the keyboard, upon pressing a key, I'm going to press the spacebar. So now when the user presses the spacebar, we're going to make it go back to the previous frame. So now what we can do is we can go on frame 1 and then wait 5 seconds and it'll go to frame 3. Then we can click and go to frame 4, and then to go back, we can go back to frame 3 by pressing the spacebar. Now, one more thing that we can do, we can add events that apply to all the frames. This is called the global events, and we have a separate event editor for global events that apply to all the frames. So I'm going to click on application 5, and then I'm going to go down here and click the events tab, and then we can see it says global events, and then I can just click edit, and then this is now the global event editor. So what we can do here is say new condition when the keyboard, upon pressing any key, then it will go to the next frame. So now if we go back to, now if we test our application, we can see that on all of the frames, if I press any key, it'll go to the next one. And then we got to the last frame, so it's not doing anything else. Now I'm going to close this. And that's all for the introduction to the event editor.